What's going on? Welcome to Tech with Sean, and for those who dare to drop 3 stacks on a laptop, we've got the ASUS ROG Strix Scar 16. This video is not sponsored by anybody, so if you'd like to support the channel, make sure to subscribe and check out our affiliate links in the description. The Scar 16 is a new 2023 release from ASUS, and it's got some pretty killer specs. So the processor in here is the i9-13980HX. That has 8 performance cores with dual threads and 16 efficiency cores that are single threaded. So it's got plenty of cores and threads for pretty much any workload you want to throw at it. This particular model came with 32 gigs of DDR5 4800 memory. It's also got a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, and there's an open spot to add another drive if you want to. And the graphics card in this beast is the RTX 4080 laptop version, and that has 12 gigabytes of memory. One of the main selling points of this laptop has got to be the screen, and this comes equipped with the brand new QHD mini LED display from ASUS that they call their Nebula HDR display. And this is mini LED with 1024 dimming zones, so you get really good contrast, and the brightness goes all the way up to 1100 nits or so peak, and so it gets very bright. HDR content looks really good on it. You get good contrast, good highlights. Basically, there are some downfalls when it comes to creative work and some fine detail, but in general, for content consumption and gaming, it's a spectacular display. Really good coverage of the color gamuts, RGB, DCI-P3, so the colors really pop and look good. It's got G-Sync, 240 Hz, 2560 by 1600. Really, there's not a lot more that you could ask for in a gaming laptop display right now. It's also got some pretty decent speakers. There are 2 down-firing woofers in the corners, and then up here at the top there are 2 little grills, and on the Scar model there's 2 additional tweeters in there. I think that the G18 and G16 only have the down-firing speakers, but the Scar models get the quad speaker setup. It does sound pretty good. It's one of the better sounding Windows laptops. It's not going to be on the same level. It doesn't have the kind of bass output and fullness that a MacBook does, but for Windows laptops, it's really up there. And it'll fill your room with sound. And you're watching a video, it sounds nice. You get all the details you hear when you're playing games. It's pretty good like separation and sound staging because it has the front firing tweeters, I think. But it's not the best, but it's one of the better ones, I would say. Aesthetically, there were some pretty bold and unique design decisions made with the Scar. You have obviously this RGB going across the front and the back, and then you have this diagonal stripe, I guess. Is that a scar? I'm not really sure, but you get that on the body as well as on the back. The deck, like the C side of the laptop, has this fade to a transparent smoked material so you can see through the plastic in parts of it. The edge of the laptop also has transparent plastic. What else? We've got this armor cap that comes off. So there's another one of these in the box, and you can take these armor caps off and customize them if you want. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting. You can kind of see the little speaker under there in the Scar model. There's some printing on the trackpad, which, I don't know, it says like, for those who dare, Strix Scar. It's kind of whatever. The bottom also has some unique stuff going on and some branding, so pretty much from any angle you look at it, it's got the ROG flair going on, and that's either going to be a positive or a negative for you, depending on what kind of aesthetics you prefer. Now, ASUS usually does a pretty good job with their laptop keyboards, especially on the higher end models, and this one's no exception. It's really good to type on, nice feedback and tactility. It does not have a number pad, even though it's a 16-inch laptop, where other models like Lenovo, they managed to put that number pad on their 16-inch models. So if that's something you need, you're gonna have to use this virtual number pad. And it's kinda I don't really like to use it because there's no tactility, but if you really need it, it's there. While there is no number pad, there are a row of extra media function keys over here. It's just play, stop, and skip forward and back. Those aren't really the buttons I would pick if I was gonna have a few extra keys. I would maybe put page up, page down on there. I know Dave2D would like to have print screen on there. You do have volume up and mute, volume down, fan mode button, and the Armory Crate button up above the keyboard. That's pretty handy for when you want to launch Armory Crate to change a setting or change your volume real quick. The secondary key functions for the FRO are illuminated, so that's nice if you need to change some of those options and you're using it in the dark. The keyboard is per key RGB, and it's not the brightest RGB out there, but it's pretty decent, and it's fully customizable in the ASUS Aura Sync software. You can also cycle through some preset modes with a, function F4 combo, but they're pretty basic, and if you want to do anything really cool, you're probably going to want to set up a custom effect. The trackpad is big, it's pretty decent, it's glass. It's not the best glass trackpad out there. I'm not 100% sure if it's using precision drivers or what they're using, but there has been some times where it hasn't noticed my drags, or I've had to kind of mess with it a little bit to get it to pick up my reading. It doesn't have the best feeling press when you press the trackpad in to click. I myself usually tap to click, so it doesn't really matter that much to me, but it doesn't feel as solid and well built as some of them out there do. And once again, it does have the toggleable number pad that you can turn on and off. Now, because they went to this cooler that exhausts all the way across the back with this light bar and everything, this year they've moved all of the ports to the sides, which kind of sucks, but at least we still have a decent amount of ports. On the left side, going from back to front, you have your power connector, your RJ45 network jack, HDMI 2.1, two USB-Cs, one of which is Thunderbolt, and a combination headphone microphone jack. Then over on the right side, you just have two USB-As. So it covers most of the bases: USB-As, USB-Cs, HDMI, network jack, but you don't get an SD card reader, and you're not going to have anything on the back if you wanted to have a more clean kind of cable setup. One thing you might look at is a laptop stand with an integrated dock, and I have one of those, and it's kind of nice because then you just have your power connector, and you can hook up like a right angle adapter for your USB-C cable and audio cable, and then you just have a few right angle connectors. And then underneath the laptop on the dock, you can have various USBs and network jacks and other things like that. So I'll link one with an affiliate link in the description, but if you're trying to have a more clean setup with something like this, that could be pretty handy. All right, so this is the 330 watt power brick you get, and it's kind of a beast. It's one of the bigger power bricks you're gonna see. Not as big as what MSI is sending out with the GT77, but it's definitely bigger than the ones from Razer. And if you've had like a different laptop before that wasn't 330 watts, this is probably going to be bigger than the laptop power adapters you're used to. I talked about the keyboard RGB earlier, but I just wanted to mention that the ROG logo and the light bar are also RGB on the Scar 16, and you can also control them through the Aura Sync software. If you're like me and you use your laptop plugged in most of the time, I would recommend going into the My ASUS app and setting the battery care mode for on, and what that's going to do is limit the battery charge to 80%. So when you unplug it, it's not going to be holding quite as much of a charge, but it's going to keep the battery from degrading as fast when you have it plugged in all the time. So that's pretty important if you're always going to be on AC power. Now, while the Scar 16 has some really high-end specs and has a lot going for it, there are some downsides too, so let me run through those real quick. First up, we got fan noise, and this is something that's always going to plague gaming laptops, especially ones with a 175 watt GPU that can also concurrently put 100 plus watts into the CPU in a pretty thin chassis. But when you have this on manual mode with the fans up and sliders maxed out, it gets real loud. When it's on turbo mode, it gets real loud. In performance mode, it's better, but it can still get real loud depending on how hard you push the CPU. The only way to get a real good quiet experience is to either play in performance mode and cap your frame rate so you're not pushing the CPU to really high performance levels, to play on silent mode, or to play in manual mode and then set manual power limits and fan curves, which I would recommend doing. If you do a manual kind of setup, you're going to be able to get more reasonable levels of noise while still pushing decent CPU performance levels. It is an HX chip, so it's unlocked, but the BIOS is pretty limited compared to those from other vendors. I know this year MSI and Lenovo are both offering more customization options for the CPU performance compared to ASUS. In the BIOS, you technically can do an undervolt, but it only accepts one of up to 30 millivolts, which is not a whole lot as far as undervolting goes. You can also disable or enable any amount of the P cores and E cores that you want to in the BIOS. So some people, for instance, that are gaming competitively may want to disable all the E cores so that they know that all their games are just running on the P cores. And maybe messing with that can also help you adjust your balance to noise levels. I'm not sure, but that's one of the few options that you can mess with in here. You can't set individual boost clocks. You can't set, ranges of undervolting like you can on other laptops. So while there are some options in there on the HX chip, there's not going to be as many options as from other vendors. Another quirk with the mini LED display is blooming, and this is inherent with mini LED technology. I will say that this has half the amount of zones that my MacBook Pro does, and this has noticeably more blooming than the MacBook Pros. You notice it the most when there's an object on a solid black or dark background, or even when you're mousing around on a kind of mid-brightness kind of object. So if you have a gray menu or a gray window in dark mode or something, you will notice not only a halo around your mouse, but if you drag your window around, you'll notice blooming around the objects in the window and stuff like that. So if you're mainly using it for desktop work, or if you're a graphic designer or video editor or something, when you're doing stuff like that, I would actually recommend turning off the mini LED backlighting. I've also had a few different glitches and bugs with this unit. I don't know if it's particular to this unit or if it's stuff that will be fixed through firmware or what, but I've had multiple instances where the screen just goes black and the system becomes unresponsive. It's happened doing various things, watching a YouTube video, just listening to music while I was messing with the AuraSync RGB software. I was actually showing it to my wife. I was like, hey, check out how it syncs with the music. And we listened to like a song for half a minute and it just went, and the music actually got garbled. The screen went black, the whole thing shut down, and I had to manually power it on 3 or 4 times before I got a display again. I've had the screen start flashing and doing crazy stuff when I loaded up Call of Duty. And so I'm on the newest drivers, newest BIOS. I installed the drivers from the ASUS support page, and it's just been kind of glitchy and weird. Now you may have heard some other reports about ASUS laptops this year having coil whine, and I can report that this specific Strix G16 does have coil whine. So I took some recordings of it just with my cell phone sitting really close to the laptop, and so I'll put those up on the screen, but you'll notice that it happens when the GPU is under load, and even sometimes when you're not gaming. Like I was just scrolling through the Steam store, and when I scrolled the page, it would make coil whine noise, like synced up with the scrolling. It can be pretty annoying, and I'm not sure if it'll go away over time, but right now it is present and it is kind of annoying. Now if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering how the Scar 16 actually performs in games. So let's get into the time spy results and some other game performance. Okay, so that's the 2023 Scar 16. It's beautiful, it's powerful, but it is kind of buggy, at least for now. I do really love the screen. I hope we see more laptops come out with the mini LED technology, especially for gaming laptops. You know, and as the tech progresses and we get more and more dimming zones, it's just gonna get better. Like, I know the MacBook I have has twice as many zones, blooming is less noticeable. So if you multiply that by another 2 or 4 times, in the future, we're gonna get some pretty impressive results from these mini LED panels, I think. The build on the laptop itself is pretty decent. Even though it's plastic, it feels pretty solid. It's pretty thin, even though it's pretty powerful. I honestly wouldn't mind it being a little bit thicker though. If they could make it just, I don't know, half an inch thicker but have bigger fans, or you know, fans that aren't as loud or something, I would definitely make that trade-off. It delivers a really good audio-visual experience. It can get warm unless you do some manual tweaking. It is pretty expensive for a gaming laptop at $3,000, although that is cheaper compared to most other RTX 4080 laptops, so you could see it as a bargain or as really expensive, I guess, depending on what angle you're looking at it from. But overall, I mean, if you're looking for a 4080 laptop in a 16-inch and you can either put up with some quirkiness and bugs or they get patched out later, it could be a pretty good one. Right now, I don't honestly know that I could recommend spending the $3,000 on it because those bugs are weird and I'm really worried about that black screen stuff. I don't know if that's just this unit or what, but so many things have caused it to happen. Even just enabling HDR has caused it. It just seems random. Like, I never know what I'm gonna do on the laptop that's gonna make the screen go black and not come back on. So I hope that I'm the only one having that problem, honestly. But that's the 2023 Scar 16. It's portable, it's powerful, but at least for right now, it's kind of buggy. So I hope you found this entertaining or helpful. Drop a like down below if you did, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll catch you in the next video.